Hello, Internet. This is Ewan Spence and ESC Insight calling. You get a deadline extension, you get a deadline extension, you get a deadline extension, and we all get Eurovision. Coming up on the news pod today, Finland sells out, Ireland needs more time, and France has some wings in the wings. Yes, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome once more to ESC Insight's podcast. It's the news pod here with myself, Ewan Spence, the team behind me writing all the scripts, and behind that more podcasters, writers, and everyone who loves the Eurovision Song Contest. www.escinsight.com is our home. www.patreon.com/ESC Insight is our home from home, where your support is welcome, but not necessarily. Link, like, love, share, and subscribe. Choose one of those. Love you forever. Right, what are we going on to now? Well, obviously, we're looking forward to May. Grand final, May the 11th, Eurovision Song Contest in Malmö. 2 semi-finals before that as well on the 7th and 9th of May. Yes, it's still some time away, but there's planning to be done, songs to be chosen, hotels to book, flights to reserve. As always, I'd remind you that it is a long way away, so look for refundable options if you can, or pay on arrival with the hotels. And yes, Malmö is a pretty big city, but if you go across the bridge, just 20 minutes away by train, there is an even bigger city, and that's Copenhagen. So be a lot of people staying in Denmark, I think, for this one as well. It also opens up your choices for flights and hotels. So there's lots of ways you can work that budget. But the biggest tip, of course, is the hotels. And those prices will probably stay high till about mid to late March and then drop in there. So if you want to just hold off, you might get a bargain. But there is another contest before that. Junior Eurovision takes place in Nice. The French will be hosting us on the 26th of November. No semi-finals there. 16 songs, 16 performers, straight through to final winner. And there's a fair amount of Junior Eurovision to go through for this pod. First of all, we should look at the situation in Armenia. The EBU is monitoring the situation in Nagorno-Karabakh and what this means, not just to Junior Eurovision, but to all of the EBU activities of its member broadcaster EMP-TV. Armenia had to withdraw from Junior Eurovision in 2020 due to conflict in that same region. They returned in 2021 to win the contest. They hosted in 2022, but as for their Junior Eurovision activities in 2023, the EBU executive supervisor Martin Osterdahl at the press conference that launched a number of other events around Junior Eurovision stated that for the moment there's no definitive answer to the question of Armenia's attendance, and the EBU is monitoring the evolution of the situation. We hope everybody we know and are still to meet are safe out there. That press conference brought us more details of the Junior Eurovision Song Contest and the events around it. First up, we got the opening ceremony, which is taking place on Monday, November the 20th. It's in the Hotel Negresco, one of Nice's historic buildings. It's listed as well, I believe. The airing of that opening ceremony will happen both on French television, on France 4, and through the official Eurovision YouTube channel as well, for everybody who doesn't have a way to watch France 4. Also part of the opening ceremony is going to be the running order draw. Now with Junior Eurovision, as I said, there's 16, but only 3 places are drawn. France, because their hosts, will draw 1 to 16 randomly for their position. The opening song and the closing song are also drawn at random, which gives us an interesting flavour. The rest of the show will be shaped by the broadcasters deciding with the producers the best running order to create the best show possible, and also to make sure like the big props aren't next to each other and you don't have 4 songs in a row that all use pink lighting cues. And best show possible of those 16. So you get the draw on the Monday night and you probably get the running order Tuesday lunchtime. And we have the host as well, returning for a second time to host the contest, making him the 4th person in Junior Eurovision history to host the contest twice, is the Fort Boyard host Olivier Minnet, and he's going to be joined by sports journalist and presenter Laurie Thielman. And finally, we have a look at the stage. Not the actual stage, the CGI representation of the stage. The artwork all written down to show this screen, a massive screen. It's 30 metres across, it's 12 metres high. It spreads into these delightfully golden gothic wings that reach into the wings of the stage themselves and represent a desire to fly away, to create and imagine. And you know what? You don't need to imagine. We've got pictures here. Look how fabulous that is. Look there. Look at the wings. Isn't that wonderful? JuniorEurovision.tv's got some pictures as well. Okay, Ashley, let's just stay with Junior Eurovision as we are at the moment. We have our entry list. Albania, Armenia, given what was said previously, of course, Estonia and France, Georgia, Germany, Ireland and Italy, Malta, Netherlands, North Macedonia, Poland, Portugal, Spain, Ukraine and the United Kingdom. We're deep into the song selection confirmation process at the moment, so let's just bring our sort of state of play where we are. First of all, Portugal's song. We're going to hear that on Monday, October the 9th. Gillian Machado with that one. In terms of internal selections, 3 to take note of here. Representing France on home soil will be Zoe Clazur singing Chœur. Italy have announced that Melissa and Reina are going to be the performers. They both came through The Voice Kids. Reina was a finalist. Melissa was the winner. The song is to be confirmed. We'll hear that at a later date. And with Spain, we previously had the announcement that Sandra Valero would be singing the song Le Vieux. That song has now been released, so you can go and hear that now. In terms of television selections, a couple of heats and semi-finals still going on, notably in Ireland. But we do have 4 confirmed out of all of those national selections. First in Albania, with Festival Kenya's Junior, Viola Giselle will be singing Yot Im. The Netherlands, which is probably the biggest national final out there for Junior Eurovision, Sepp and Jasmine are going to be singing Holding On To You. It's a duet. I'm expecting to start at the sides of the stage and move into the middle. Get your bingo cards out. Poland, you have Maria Krzyzewska singing I Just Need a Friend, and stand by for Doctor Who Donna Noble gif on that one. And over in Ukraine, Anastasia Demid will be singing Kuitka for Ukraine. Said Ukraine twice there. There we go. What else do we have? Well, we're looking forward. We're still waiting to hear details like from the United Kingdom. We're watching Ireland go through the selection process as well. We'll keep you up to date with Junior Eurovision as we get closer and closer to the event there on November the 26th here on the podcast and also on the website as well. We got some great ideas for features coming up. Okay, over to the grown-ups. The forms have already been submitted, so the EBU knows who wants to enter the Eurovision Song Contest. They don't have to publicly announce that. The broadcasters can do. We've been over this a couple of times. So at the moment, the count is up to 35. Following on from the previous pod, Croatia, Georgia, Greece, Latvia, North Macedonia, Poland and Slovenia have all confirmed their entries since the last time we went through the list. No doubt we're going to get confirmation at some point after October the 11th because the forms went in, there was a deadline, and then everybody told, right, this is how much it's going to cost you to actually enter. Now we know how many people are going to be there. And they have a chance to withdraw without penalty before October the 11th. If you want to pay to not play, that happens after October the 11th. Circumstances notwithstanding. So we should get a full entry list in Geneva by the time we get the next podcast. Whether they announce it or not publicly, don't know. Right. In terms of song selections, of course, Junior taking most of the focus here, but we do have one to add onto our list here, and it's from Cyprus. There's been lots of going back and forward with that one. The Fame Academy style show isn't going ahead to do with Eurovision. There were some names being bandied around, but we have everything solidified. No, it's Celia Kapsis who's going to be singing for Cyprus. The song is going to be composed by Eurovision stalwart Dimitrios Kontopoulos. Previously, it's got quite a few previously, but Greece 2021, Stefania's Last Dance is probably the one closest in memory. Okay, other bits and pieces of country news. Let's start with Austria. Submissions are closed, but it's going to be a fully internal selection now. Broadcaster ORF saying that for unspecified legal reasons, previously they incorporated the public vote into the selection process. That's not there anymore. So we will... how have they phrased it? The announcement on who is going to be representing Austria will happen no later than December. It doesn't say if it's like December the 1st or December the 31st. It's just there you go. See what happens. I would presume before Christmas, so the paperwork is out the way before the holidays. Azerbaijan, 214 songs have been submitted to the broadcaster to represent the country in Malmö. We know it's going to be an internal pick, but we don't know anything else, so we're waiting to hear on details on that one. Luxembourg, we do have details. It's a one-shot national final on January the 27th as the country returns to the song contest, and they've confirmed 459 submissions into the broadcaster. So lots to choose from there. Denmark, we have a date for the Danish national final. Broadcaster DR has announced that DMGP, Danske Melodi Grand Prix, is going to take place on the 17th of February. It's at the DR Concert Hall in Copenhagen. So if you want to have a look at Copenhagen before you stay in Copenhagen so you can go to Malmö, there's an option here. It's a smaller capacity venue than in previous years. It's going to hold 1,800, and we're still waiting to hear details on how you can get tickets for that one. But there's an option there for a little recce trip if you feel like that. If you're planning a trip on Finland, I hope you've got everything all lined up. Tickets for the Finnish national selection UMK went on sale this week. After the success of Käärijä, second place, huge amount of national pride, the national finals moved to the Nokia Arena in Tampere. It's just on the outskirts of Helsinki. Capacity there's 12,000 for a one-shot national final on February the 10th, and it took about an hour for tickets to sell out this week. So that's it. If you were planning to go and you got your tickets, great. If you're planning to go and thinking, let's see, you might have missed your window. The other national finals are available. Other adventures are always out there. As regard UMK, a huge number of entries in terms of Finnish Eurovision interest, 419 songs. Artist announcements are going to be on January the 10th, and then there'll be one song per day from the 11th through to the 19th. I know, that's 9 days. Aren't there meant to be 7? Yes. I assume that we're going to take the weekend off because nobody in Finland works at the weekend. They all go into a sauna and watch ice hockey. Anyway, we shall see what happens there. What is interesting, though, is although the acts have not been named, we have 7 cryptic clues to the acts, and naturally everybody thinks all 7 of them are Nightwish. Some people think one of them is Bem, some people think it might be Erika Vigman. There are a couple of names floating around, but I'll be looking through the clues, and a hard-hitting club banger by a well-known artist making a comeback. I think that's Dusty Bin. That's a deep cut reference only 4 people are going to get. Well, let's face it, one of the delights about Eurovision is finding out new acts, new bands, new singers, new performers, and just experiencing them for the first time. So I'm just going to leave that one hanging there and move over to Ireland. Broadcaster RT has extended the submission window out to October the 20th, more time to get the music in. German broadcaster NDR has done the same, many in the industry saying we need a little bit more time to get our songs and packages ready, so that's been extended out to next week on October the 15th. Short note from the Dutch broadcaster Avro Trust, it's received over 600 submissions for its Eurovision Song Contest entry for the 2024 trip up to Sweden. That selection there is going to be internal. A decision by mid-December, but no word if it will be announced mid-December. Again, let's just see what happens. Sometimes you want to do that PR strike now so you can build up a bandwagon. Sometimes you want to leave it a little bit later into the process and get close to the contest and try and just get everybody energized as last entry announced. It's like, well, I've heard everybody else, so yes, that's it. Another Ilse de Lange duet. That's the one. Just guessing. No information. Romania, though, still in discussion here on whether they're going to enter. This comes back to what I was saying earlier. You can get your submission in now, see the costs, then discuss and withdraw without penalty as a broadcaster before October 11th. TVR is in financial difficulties at the moment, so there are discussions going back and forward. There's going to be an answer between the EBU and TVR next week, you would presume, but again, doesn't need to be announced just yet. Okay, let's look up from the news and look at the wider community. What have we got going on, including stuff from us? Well, those of you who are following the podcast feed will realise that the news pod comes out every 2 weeks, and every other week we have something special. Right now we're rebroadcasting Phil Dory's Eurovision Wars, a look at the politics of Eurovision, geopolitics, conflict, lots of that going on as well. Season 2 is currently up on Spotify as an exclusive. Season 1 we're re-airing, and we will go into Season 2 as well as the year continues. We had Finland, the tickets and all that, sales and everything. Ben Robertson has taken a little bit of a look at why this UMK could be the greatest UMK Finnish selection ever in the history of the song contest. Fun little opinion piece going up on there. Some discussion about the voting system this week. It's been heavily under discussion in the community over the summer and by various heads of delegation. We're assuming it's been happening behind closed doors as well as a little bit of it in public as well. The most visible in the public was NRK Norway broadcaster Stig Karlsen. Speaking to the Eurotrip podcast this week, he indicated that while it has been discussed, and discussing everything is always a good thing after an event, it sounds like it's going to stay as a 50-50 split between the jury percentage and the televote percentage. Now, given there was no official note that this was being discussed, there's no official confirmation from the EBU because you can't confirm something that hasn't been proposed before. Maybe you could stick out a qualifying statement, but I don't think we're going to hear anything. Right now with 50-50, I personally think this is the least worst solution. But many others think differently, and that's fine. Discussion is great. Finn Ross Russell is one of those. He's, of course, one of us here at ESC Insight, and he's going to look at that over the weekend over on Patreon. So if you are a Patreon supporter, you can have a look at Finn's thoughts there before next week. Yeah. Finn right now is very busy. He's at the Eurobash, OGAE UK's convention. Many of us are going to be there. Many others are going to be watching from afar and cheering on all the performers that take to this stage. Personally, we're rooting for Scott Fitzgerald to lift the trophy, but knowing history, will probably be pipped to the post into second place. If you're there or not there, Eurovision.tv, the official website, has an interesting article about the 400 Point Club. The artists who've all scored more than 400 points at the Eurovision Song Contest. The best of the best, the cream of the crop, the top of the pick of the pops. But hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Maths time. Most points you could have got, actually, with all the points on offer last year, that's 58 points per country jury, plus 58 points per country televote over 36 countries. Because it's 37, you can't vote for yourself, but you have the rest of the world vote in there. So the total, if all the points on the board are 4,234, but you can only score 12 at top. You can't score 12 plus 10 plus 8. So that actually means you can get 12 from a country, 12 for a televote, 12 from a country, 36 countries plus 12 from the televote, which means the most points you could have got in Liverpool is 876. So if you've got scored 400 points or more, you're looking at more than 45.6%, sorry, 45.662% of the possible maximum. So, and here's the thing. That's slightly more than you would have scored in the first 30 or 40 years of the contest. 400 point club is great, but maybe a 40% club would have been a better bet. Oh, no, hold on. That's going to work. ABBA scored 24 out of a maximum of 170, so they only scored 14%. There's a top 18 of everybody's favourite songs in the last couple of years up on the official website. How about that? Shall we just go for that? Yeah. Fun with maths. Hey, okay, a couple of dates for your diary looking forward. October the 26th at the ACC in Liverpool is Liverpool Calling. The results are in. Panel discussions and presentations on the impact of Eurovision on Liverpool and beyond. Details there at the Culture Liverpool website. It's the OGAE UK Eurobash this weekend. Everybody enjoy yourself. Enjoy the midnight chips. You have the pre-party Spain on March 28, 29, 30. Barcelona Eurovision on 4th to 6th of April. We've got details on Eurovision in concert as well, which traditionally is the biggest fan preview concert. Saturday, April the 13th, Amsterdam's AFAS Live venue. Tickets are going on sale next Friday, the 13th of October, 10 a.m. Central European time via ticketmaster.nl. If you want to go there, type it in directly, go through the Eurovision in concert website as well. If you've seen tickets elsewhere, they're probably not tickets. They're Yeah, go through the official sources on that one. If you're a member of the OGAE official fan clubs, then there's going to be a pre-sale opening on Wednesday. Check your local club listings for details. I don't have any more on that, but it is happening. One bit of news out there as well. Host has been announced. Charlotte Perrelli, who sung for Sweden in 1999 and 2008, will be joined by Cornel Maas, the Dutch commentator, who's frequently... obvious sight. Oh, what do I want to say? I've done too much maths and not enough English. He's hosted before. He was very good at it. He's still doing it. There, got it. Good. And there we go. That is your Eurovision news pod. Lots going on in the world. We've got our little bit, Finross, on Patreon. We'll have more Eurovision Wars next week from Phil Dorey. We've got all those dates to diary. You can book tickets, flights. Eurovision is just a little bit closer. There are a few more songs. There are a few more names. The tempo is slowly increasing. So, as always, thanks very much for listening to the podcast and lending us your ears. To all our friends who are out there, stay safe. To all our friends who are still to meet, you stay safe as well. Everybody be kind to each other. It makes the world a much better place to be in. I'll say ta-ra for now and catch you in the next pod. Cue the guitars. The ESC Insight News podcast was hosted by Ewan Spence, written by Ewan Spence and the team from ESC Insight. Find out more, www.escinsight.com, and support us, patreon.com/ESC Insights.